political prisoner, and I do work around political prisoners. And I really want to thank, where's the brother with the gun club? Right. And you know, because that's really important that we do have gun clubs. We used to have one in Philadelphia, a black gun club, and it's no more. And you know, people get involved with other things, and you know, they don't, you know, have the purpose in their minds of defense. It is a God-given right.
Come on.
Self-defense.
Yes.
Let me properly introduce myself. I'm more than your aunt. And, okay. I am the Minister of Confrontation for the Move organization. I am chairwoman of the Uncompromised International Concern of Family and Friends of Munya Abu Jamal. And I am a disciple of John Africa. When she was speaking about, my niece was speaking about the Move organization, our family is the one that this government dropped a bomb on. And when I'm talking about Moshe, I'm talking about right, Regina, and I'm talking about economics. I'm talking about everything that's right here on this thing tonight. And I'm using my family as an example. And our family is a poor black family in Philadelphia. They got fed up and tired of the beating, the maiming, the killing. And of our family, we've had babies burned to death on May 13, 1985, when this government dropped a bomb on us. Killed 11 men, women, and children because they did not successfully kill us in 1978, another position where everybody's seen that around the world, the beating of my brother Delbert Africa. John Africa explained to us that we have nothing to compromise with this government. Nothing at all. We cannot play their games, you know, because playing their games got us to where we're at today. We must understand the urgency of where we're at today. Anytime in Ferguson you see youth that's gathering up, you know, rose up, and to fight the way that they're fighting, and they're doing it that way behind the fact that they feel as though they've been failed. Politics have failed them. You know, the schools have failed them. You know, jobs have failed them. We tell our children to go to school, you know, and you know, high school to college, and you have a piece of this American disaster. And you know, people always say, I want a piece of the pie. And we are the damn pie.
All right now.
When you look in your neighborhoods, I know in Philadelphia, and there's not a, you know, black stores is not there. The majority of the stores, gas is not ours. I know when I was coming up, and people had gas stores, and you know, the bars and people owned them, and they was giving back to the community. And we also had the clothing stores, and the mom and pop stores on the corner was us. You know, and you hear a lot of people talk about, you know, well, and you know, I don't begrudge anybody, and a rightful dollar. And but when your rightful dollar comes out of our pocket and you're not giving things back, you know, and our block, and we demand that the people who own the stores, and who are not us, and because there's too many of them we can name, you know, different people who are in our area who have the stores. But how many do you see employ a brother to sweep the sidewalk, to stock a can or something in there? No. You got brothers standing on the corner. And I'm saying they can give jobs. But the reason why these people feel as though they can do that and get away with it, it's not their problem, it's our problem. It's our problem. I underground activity. And they was looking to kill me because they had killed the other people in the family. And where I was at, was a white area. And people really liked me down there. And they knew I was different, but they just couldn't understand what was happening. But I do remember when we were in the store on the corner from us. And it was a small supermarket. And it was ran by white people, that's where I was at. And when some Asians moved in and took the supermarket over, one of the ladies who befriended me while I was down there, and who used to go around to the store, and she saw me walking one day, and I was going, she said, "You need a ride?" So I said, "No, I'm just going right around here to the store. Me and her walk there many days." She said, "Oh, we don't go there." And I'm like, "Oh?" She said, "Yeah." She said, she was talking about they don't own that store. So they would go drive way out somewhere else, to another store, but that store folded in their community. And I was like, well, damn, look at this. Their thinking is right. Their thinking is right. And people were saying that they was being racist. No, they were not. That's their community. What lived there was them. When someone else comes in and they take out, and there was nobody in there that lived in that community that was in that store, they made it forward. We got to do the same thing. We should be going and patronizing the store that come in our community, and they don't have one of us working anyway. When they see us on the street, they barely have anything to say. Their children not playing with ours.
Hello.
But I want to give some examples of dealing with the case of Munya Abu Jamal and dealing with our family. And the beatings, the maimings, and killings was something that was happening long before 1978 when people saw the Rizzo administration come and attack our family. We had a car wash that was very lucrative, and cars would be on this side of the street, and around the corner, coming to get their car washed. Not only was they getting their car washed, but they was getting information. They was getting information about ourselves, and and how we got to get these people up off our back, and and how we got to stop blaming our children for the problems that we sat back and allowed to happen.
Oh yeah.
We had a problem in our schools. Move position was take them out, and and we'll educate them. But for those who keep the children in the schools, it's up to us to go into them schools and fight. Like, I was listening to my niece who was saying that, when she had a problem, and her kids called and they said somebody seen her on the corner in front of City Hall protesting about the injustice that was happening there. These are the things we must continue to do, or either we have to take our children from out there.
That's right. That's right. Come on.
And the whole thing of the economics, we did it back in the day. We did it. We had black schools, and I'm not talking about charter schools. I'm talking schools with black consciousness. You cannot teach all that you need to teach. You can't teach about, the Panthers was one thing, but there were so many others. There was Ram, there was other people, and I love the Panthers because they set a good example of going after this government and fighting this government and, bringing us to a whole nother level of thought. And when the battle came down to fight, and, what happened, they wound up locking a lot of the leaders up, and, and a whole lot of false leaders, came up, and that was compromising. We don't have anything to compromise. And, when you look at today and see where we were at when we were young, and, even like with food, with our chronic asthmatics, right? And my son Kevin was sitting there, and another one, Billy, my oldest boy. And you know, when I was taking them in the early '60s back and forth to the hospital, you know, and that, you know, with all these beautiful words here and activities here, and you know, we cannot allow these people to be the help people for our children, for our grandmothers, for our grandfathers, for our families. I'm saying, when we came here, we came equipped with everything we need right inside here.
Come on now. Woo!
But because we wanted to, and you know, and I remember my grandmother making stuff, I mean, the pot sitting on the table with some big salve in it when we had a cold, and I'm putting that thing there, you know, breathing. I remember castor oil, oh my God, I remember 3-6s, and you know, now they give us these cards, and if we sneeze, you know, if we have, you know, the slightest little thing, what the hell are you doing in that hospital? And
right.
Condom stuff. You know, if you break a leg, if you don't know nobody in the community that can fix that leg for you, then go. But I'm saying, they even have a baby. You know, they have a baby.
Woo!
These people make slaves out of us. You know, when we know how to do things naturally. I was fortunate with my 2 boys that I didn't have them in the hospital. I had one on the way and I had one on the elevator up. At 38, I had my daughter Rosie. I mean, look, I was walking and this girl just right on out. You know, I was 43 when I had Pixie. None of my children have ever been in their hospitals. Vaccination of these. And not one of these children have ever set a foot inside their schools. How can you have your enemy teach your children? How can you have people who learn from your enemy to teach your children?
Yep.
And I'm saying there are people within this movement that's in these schools who know this and know and gravitate for our children and teach them. You have those who have stood up for our children with the knowledge that they know that's instilled in here that their grandmothers and great-grandmothers taught them. But when they start teaching that love in them schools and that, you know, self-determination and that fight, and they be moving. That's right. They be moving. People will and you would think that, you know, I don't understand this word progress because it seemed to me like we're regressing. And I know when I was taking Kevin and Billy to the hospital, and then I could go to a drugstore and I could see about 10 different kinds of asthma medicine. And I took a friend to the hospital and they gave her a prescription and she wanted to get something, you know, for her asthma. And it was rows and rows.
Oh, watch out.
And rows. And you know, this one and that one and the other. I'm saying, you know, how do we get there? If we are progressing, if we are doing well, you know, how come we got more hospitals today than we had yesterday? How come every corner has a drug store on it?
Okay.
You know, if we're doing better, shouldn't things be getting better? But it's not. How come water today, I remember my grandfather telling me when we were kids, and you know, and I'm 68 right now. When I was a kid, my grandfather was telling us that the food we was eating isn't really food. You know, he knew something that, you know, I'm telling my children now. You know, you're not eating real food. The sweet potato, do you remember when it was hairy and you had to pull all that hair off of it? Do you remember the peach when it was fuzzy? Yes. It was sometimes it would burn and fit. Do you remember when the orange had seeds? Lots of seeds, and I couldn't wait till Thanksgiving come when I could eat a tangerine and it had a few seeds? Do you remember when every store had watermelon
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when women used to sit down and breastfeed their babies?
Yes.
Do you remember
Yes.
when they start making a law against breastfeeding your babies? And you know, now, you know, they're pushing breastfeeding your babies. The same people who's pushing that was the same people that was telling us that, you know, it was wrong to do. You know, it was wrong to do it. And you know, still the same thing. And because see, when they took us off our mother's breast, it was about economics for them.
Yes, yes.
Right.
These are the same people who took our mothers or our babies off our breasts and fed their babies. It was still economics for them because when we were feeding their babies, they were doing something else.
Yeah, they were.
But see, there were people who were stronger and you know, and had that will to fight just like these youth of today. And who said, I'm fed up with this shit. You take one of ours, and what your brother said. Two of yours. You know, this is what was happening back in slavery. At one point, you know, we were saying, the hell with this. We ain't fighting no more. We snuck to get educated.